If you don't subscribe, this rosy maple moth might give you a visit. We are telling lies. We know we are telling lies. We don't tell the public the truth, that we are losing more officers than the Germans, and that it's impossible to get through on the Western Front. The First World War, also referred as the Great War, was one of the deadliest conflicts in history. The total number of military and civilian casualties were around 40 million. There were 20 million deaths and 21 million wounded. In this episode, we have some soul-stirring colorized photo of the Great War. Let's get started. Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria and his wife Sophie leave the Sarajevo Guildhall after reading a speech on June 28, 1914. 5 minutes later, they were assassinated. Their assassination precipitated Austria-Hungary's declaration of war against Serbia, which later kicked off the First World War. The arrest of Gavrilo Princip, the 19-year-old who assassinated Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Princip and his accomplices were arrested as a member of a Serbian nationalist secret society. A regiment of famous alpine cyclists occupy a garrison during the Battle of Somme. A woman offers flowers to Indian soldiers fighting on behalf of the British Empire. Giving flowers to soldiers was a traditional sign of welcome and support. A little girl plays with her doll in Reims, France in 1917. 2 guns and a knapsack are next to her on the ground. Soldiers with anti-aircraft gun during a battle in the First World War. This is one of the last photos of German pilot Richard Scholl before his passing, which were collected and sent to his father. Scholl was reported missing in September 1918. French soldiers on the battlefield during an offensive on the French fortress of Verdun. In total, more than 700 people were killed or injured on both the French and German sides during this battle, with casualties split almost evenly between them. A French soldier at the Battle of Verdun wears a gas mask. Historians have dubbed First World War modern history's first battle of attrition, in which the goal was simply to take as many enemies' lives as possible, no matter the time or the cost. Brutal methods like flamethrowers and poison gas were often used to achieve that goal. A French soldier with an acoustic listening device capable of tracking aircraft on the Western Front. French soldiers launched gas and flame attacks against German troops in Flanders, Belgium. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and hit the like button if you like this video. The extent of the devastation caused by Zeppelin bombs could be extreme. Here, First World War soldiers and civilians are seen crowding around a crater in England. Troops stand a mobile pigeon loft used to send messages to the headquarters. According to BBC, 100,000 carrier pigeons served in the First World War with a 95% success rate. A soldier named Alexeyev and his sculpture of moist sand. Flowers on the battlefield. An Australian soldier from the 8th Light Horse Regiment picking flowers during the war against Ottoman Empire in the Middle Eastern theater. An Armenian woman kneels beside her lifeless child in Syria during the Battle of Aleppo in 1918, after Prince Faisal's armed forces captured the city in the last days of the Sinai and Palestine campaign. The French cavalry crosses a swollen stream on the front lines of the Battle of the Somme, which began on July 1, 1916. The battle remains one of the bloodiest in the history of British armed forces, which lost roughly 60% of its troops on the first day alone. British soldier giving a light to a German prisoner of war, September 1914. The average soldier had to carry 66 pounds of equipment during the Battle of the Somme, but major new technologies for warfare were also introduced in this battle, including the first use of tanks in combat. Gas-masked men of the British Machine Gun Corps with the Vickers machine gun during the First Battle of Somme. It was the first instance of the use of chemical weaponry. Doctors would use masks to cover areas near the eye for those severely injured in the war. The eyeglasses this man is wearing aren't meant to improve his vision, but to hold the mask in place. The picture on the left shows the man without his mask. A soldier in uniform with 3 medals stands next to a cannon in Paris in 1918. His left leg has been replaced by an artificial limb. And that's all for today. I'm Tanvir, signing out. Take care and goodbye.